Today's video will be about, or tonight's video rather, will be about the longest electoral mandate. Let's say you hold an election for a member of parliament or a president, a legislative election or a presidential election. You expect them at the most to be answerable to the voters in, say, 4 to 5 years for most countries. Because most countries in the world most democratic countries in the world hold elections once every 4, 5, or 6 years. Some presidents have 6-year mandates, and some upper chambers of parliament have 6-year mandates, although once every 3 years or 2 years, and it's a revolving thing. Some members of the upper house are elected. But I'm not here to discuss bicameralism. I'm here to discuss how long you have on your mandate from the people who voted you in. The shortest electoral mandate would be for the United States Congress, as far as I know. Or maybe some local elections. You have to be answerable to the voters once every 2 years. In Australia and New Zealand, their parliaments are answerable to the voters once every 3 years. And the rest of the world vote in their legislatures once every 4 or 5 years, most of them. And some presidents have 6-year mandates, while most have just 5. Now, we're not going to discuss term limits, but how long you have till you have to go back to the voters to vote for you again. Sometimes I repeat myself. Now, the longest electoral mandate directly from the people that I found from my research is 8 years. 8 years. The upper chamber of the senators from the upper house of Chile have 8-year mandates. The Assembly of Experts in Iran have a mandate of 8 years. The Assembly of Experts in Iran oversee the work of the Supreme Leader. Anyway, 8 years. That is ridiculously long. 8 years is enough time for you to do absolutely nothing and keep all your promises at the same time. 8 years. That is one hell of a cushy job. You only need to go to the voters once every 8 years. You're set for life. You're set for a full 8 years. But you have to get elected first. But does that feel democratic to you that someone has a mandate from the people for 8 years? Then there's the indirect elections, meaning that you elect people in order for them, you elect people, and then those elected people vote for someone else, appointed by the elected officials. And then the person indirectly elected is answerable actually as often as the elected officials are, because then depending on who is elected, so then they can get elected again. Now, so I think indirectly elected officials are just as answerable to the people, to the voters. And This is now a thing of the past. 2004, they reduced it to 6 years. But before 2004, the longest electoral mandate I could find was 9 years. The Senate of France. That is one comfortable parliamentary seat you're sitting in. That was before 2004. 9 years! That seems undemocratic in the sense that, well, if they do so many bad things in office, they don't have to worry because they've got so long a time. They don't have to be answerable to the voters for so long. So they can break election promises. But that's just enough time also to keep election promises. Another pro about having a, a 9-year mandate or an 8-year mandate is voters will think very, very, very carefully before voting for you. Because they know once they cast their ballot, you're stuck with them, you're stuck with whoever you voted for 8 to 9 years. But, thank goodness, that was reduced to 6 years. No more 9-year mandates for French senators. It's enough time to keep and break promises, as I said. So you can sit back and relax for 6 years, if you like, and spend the other 2 years keeping election promises which you initially did. So you can have a very long honeymoon period with such a long electoral mandate. Now, I'm not going to discuss term limits, but I think I said that earlier in my video, but yeah. Now, being appointed for life does not count and is not democratic. The British House of Lords. I frown upon that institution. How can party members just say, because of your long service to the party and to your country, you're set for life in the House of Lords? You can dictate legislation even though you're not answerable to the people. How I despise the British House of Lords. As for, and here's another one. I don't know many senators for life in other countries, but I heard there are some. I'm not sure which ones though. The Canadian Senate, there's a mandatory retirement age at 75. So it's not as bad as the House of Lords. Once you reach 75, you have to retire whether you like it or not. But then if you're appointed by, say, a prime minister at 21 minus, 75 minus 21 is, 54 years. You would have a mandate of 54 years. I think you can be appointed at 21, right? I could be wrong, it could be 30, I don't know, or 25. But 54 years. That's another job set for life. So, is super long mandates a good or bad thing? Maybe the US Congress needs longer mandates. Are you kidding? They've taken all that money, etc., etc. Yeah, I get it. That they don't do the bidding of the people because they do the bidding of the people who pay them the most money. Well, maybe if they had longer mandates, the voters will think more carefully before voting Republican or Democrat. The US Congress, yeah. Well, I thank you for listening and watching this video.